The river belongs to the skybiter now. From their perch in the sun-bleached rocks that mark the edge of the barrens, the Red Ochre clan watches the valley that was theirs. They see it in the carcass of the Triceratops, a three-horned mountain of flesh ripped open near the water's edge, its keratin-OUS beak agape at the uncaring sky. They smell it in the thick, sweet-rot scent that the wind carries up the bluffs, a promise of plenty that is no longer for them. This is the brutal reality of their prehistoric life. For 3 generations, the river was their lifeblood, a place of reed beds thick with eggs and sluggish, armored fish. Now it is a tyrant's feasting hall. A tremor runs through the stone, the deep, resonant hum that is felt in the bones before it is heard. It is the footfall of the new god. The Tyrannosaurus Rex emerges from the tree line, a walking apocalypse of muscle and teeth. It ignores the carcass, having already eaten its fill. It moves with the terrifying casualness of absolute power, its massive head swinging slowly, its septic yellow eyes scanning its domain. The clan flattens itself against the rock. Their bellies swollen with hunger, know to be silent. This primal fear is a less unlearned before words. To make a sound is to be noticed, and to be noticed by the skybiter is to cease to be. That night, the fire is small, a desperate ember huddled in a shallow cave. The faces it illuminates are hollowed by a week of near starvation. They are a people of immense resilience, early humans who have perfected survival skills against a world of giants. But this is a challenge beyond their experience. Kale, the clan's strongest hunter, sharpens a spear. Its tip is not stone but the polished, serrated tooth of an Allosaurus they brought down last season, a masterpiece of osteodontocera technology. "We must leave," he says, his voice a low growl. "The beast is too large. We travel east into the sun, find a new river." The others murmur, a sound like dry leaves skittering. They know what lies east, 100 miles of cracked earth and dust, a graveyard for the hopeful. Elora, the clan matriarch, does not speak. Her face, a roadmap of scars and wisdom, is turned toward the cave mouth, toward the distant silhouette of the valley. She has seen more seasons than anyone, and her mind operates on a different timeline. She is the keeper of their hominid history, the one who remembers the great migrations and the great famines. She weighs the slow, certain death in the barrens against the swift, probable death in the valley. It is a terrible calculus. She turns her gaze back to the fire, and her eyes hold a cold, hard light that silences the murmurs. "No," she says, her voice quiet but absolute, "we do not run from our life. We do not give the world back to the monsters." She looks at Kale, at the deadly spear he holds. "We will kill the god." Silence greets her words, thick and heavy as river mud. The clan stares at Elora as if she has sprouted a second head. To challenge a pack of Velociraptors is a calculated risk. To hunt a lone Allosaurus is a monumental undertaking. But to willingly face the skybiter, a beast that seems more a feature of the landscape than a living creature, is not courage, it is madness. Kale lowers his spear, the firelight catching the defiance in his eyes. "You speak of things that are not possible, old mother. We are mice plotting to kill a mountain." Elora does not flinch. Her gaze is steady, her foresight a tool sharper than any stone flake. She rises slowly, her movement stiff but deliberate, and leads them to the mouth of the cave. She points not toward the river, but west, to a jagged scar in the earth, a deep twisting fissure carved by ancient water. "There," she says, "the serpent's spine. The gorge is deep, and its walls are sheer, too narrow for the beast to turn. It can only move forward or back." The hunters see it now. A trap. Not one of their making, but one offered by the ancient earth itself. The plan begins to take shape in their minds, a terrifying but logical sequence. A flicker of hope, dangerous and sharp, ignites in the dark. Its hide is stone. Another hunter, a young woman named Lyra, objects, "Our spears will break." "We will not strike its hide," Elora counters. She turns back to the fire and retrieves a small, clay-sealed pot from her bundle. Unsealing it releases a faint, acrid smell. Inside is a dark, viscous sap, the root of the bloodthorn. Remember how it blackened the meat on Olen's kill where the briar scratched him? It rots the flesh. It turns strength to water. A discovery born from observation. The beginning of a new kind of warfare. They would not just pierce the beast, they would poison its very blood. We strike the soft parts. Its legs and tail are armored trees, its skull a fortress of bone. But beneath, where the great chest hangs, there are only belly ribs, the gastrolia. A soft gate to its heart. A new silence falls, this one of contemplation. The plan is sound. It is ingenious. It is also suicidal. Kale voices the unspoken question, his throat tight. But who can lead it into the serpent's spine? It is a death run. Before anyone can answer, a young man steps from the shadows. It is Terrakay, Ilara's grandson. Known for his speed and recklessness. He is not the strongest, but he moves like the wind. I will, he says, his voice clear and steady. This is the emotional turning point, the moment of pure altruism. He looks at his grandmother, then at the hungry faces of the clan. I am the fastest. The skybiter will follow me. A debate begins to spark, but Alara silences it with a raised hand, her face a mask of iron and grief. She accepts her grandson's sacrifice as she accepts the rising sun. It is a hard choice, a terrible one, but the clan's survival is the only law that matters. The long night is spent in quiet, focused work, coating the tips of their heaviest spears with the dark sap, preparing the tools that will either save their people or be their tombstone. Dawn breaks, thin and grey. There is no ceremony, no grand speech, only the grim finality of a choice made. Terrakay stands at the edge of the barrens, a single, polished river stone in his hand. He is the bait. He is the bait. Below, in the valley, the skybiter is a silhouette of death against the rising sun, tearing at the remains of the Triceratops. Alara gives a single, sharp nod. The plan is in motion. Terrakay hurls the stone. It arcs high and clatters against the monster's massive skull. The colossal head swings around, the yellow eye fixing on the small, fleeting figure. A roar splits the morning air, a sound that is not born of fury, but of pure, predatory authority, and the chase begins. Terrakay runs. He runs with a speed fueled by Terran purpose, his feet barely seeming to touch the cracked earth. The ground behind him shudders with each stride of the tyrant, the impacts traveling through the soles of his feet like the beat of a death drum. The clan, hidden along the rim of the serpent's spine, watches in suffocating silence. They see the chasm between predator and prey shrink with terrifying speed. Terrakay is a flicker of life being swallowed by an earth-shaking shadow. He reaches the gorge mouth, diving into the narrow opening just as the great jaws snap shut on empty air. The Tyrannosaurus Rex, blinded by momentum and predatory rage, plunges in after him. The beast's bellow of fury turns to one of confusion as the stone walls press in, scraping its armored flanks. It is trapped. That is the signal. From above, spears rain down. Kale and the hunters lean over the edge, driving their poisoned shafts with the combined weight of their bodies. They do not aim for the back. They aim for the soft, vulnerable belly, the gastrolia Alara identified. The dark-tipped spears punch through the softer hide. The monster shrieks, a sound of agony and outrage, and thrashes violently. Its great tail, a weapon of immense power, sweeps the entrance of the gorge. Terrakay, exhausted and gasping for air, has no time to react. He is gone, erased from the world in a spray of red. It is the story of human evolution, a tale written in sacrifice. The poison is working. A black froth bubbles from the tyrant's jaws. Its movement becomes sluggish, its roars weaker. But it is a dying god, and its death throes are shaking the world. Kale, seeing his chance, slides down a rock fall to the gorge floor. He holds the last and greatest spear, the one tipped with the jaw of the Allosaurus. With a final desperate cry that is part grief and part war, he drives it deep into the creature's exposed throat. It takes one more step then another before its legs buckle. The earth drinks deep as the behemoth crashes down, its fall shaking the very foundations of the valley. Silence descends, broken only by the rasp of labored breathing. The hunters stare at the mountain of dead flesh, its bones one day to become a puzzle for the science of paleontology, and then to the empty space at the gorge mouth where Terra K once stood. Victory has a bitter, metallic taste. In the days that follow, the valley is filled with the sounds of work. The Khan, a community of ancient humans bound by loss, dismantles their fallen god. Its hide becomes their shelter, its bones the frame for new weapons, its meat a feast that will last them a season. They have reclaimed their world not through strength, but through a terrifying act of collective will. The river is theirs again, but they move beside it with a new gravity, their eyes forever scanning the tree line. The shadow of the tyrant is gone, but its echo remains, a permanent part of their hominid history. This hunt was more than a battle for territory. It was a fundamental shift in the planet's power dynamic. It was the moment a thinking mammal, armed with nothing but sharp sticks, shared knowledge, and a willingness to sacrifice its own, proved that size was not the only measure of dominance. Their desperate defiance, born in a poison-filled gorge, is the seed from which our own audacity grew. How many such sacrifices lost to time were the steep price paid for our unlikely ascent? For in the shadow of giants we first learned the true measure of man. That the earth was not the only place where giants dwell.